Oakley to Mercer. Mercer on the run.
What a play! What a defensive play! A two-hand block, steal, game, set, magic. What a defensive play by Michael Jordan. Look at him. He slammed it against the board.
A great player who never gives up on a play.
That's exactly what I said. What a play. Just when it looked like Quadajah Johnson might be headed to a pretrial release, everything just got put on pause. A new order from the Illinois Appellate Court has stopped that process in its tracks. And this changes the case timeline in a major way. Talk about the power of the pen. When people do the most, I do the analysis. Let's go. Let's break this one down clearly because there's even more confusion right now with all these moving parts. The appellate court had already ruled in Quadajah Johnson's favor, meaning the lower court, Judge Clancy's court that is, was going to have to revisit whether Quadajah should remain detained or be released before trial. Well, now that ruling is frozen. At least temporarily it is. See, what had happened was the appellate court has officially granted the state's motion to stay the mandate. That means that the earlier decision, while still valid, is basically on hold right now. So nobody moves forward until the next step plays out. So as of today, well, yesterday to be exact, there will be no release hearing. So y'all can pretty much scratch what I said earlier about the April 27th hearing. There will be no bond conditions. Again, that won't be happening on April 27th either. And finally, there will be no immediate path out of custody for Quadajah Johnson. Until this case hits the desk of the Illinois Supreme Courts, the conversations about setting pretrial release conditions are paused. Essentially, Judge Michael Clancy cannot act on the appellate ruling right now. Everything is paused. Now, here's the part that really stands out. Y'all remember that judge? Presiding Justice Raymond Mitchell? The appellate justice who actually dissented in the original decision? Yeah, him. Well, he signed off on this stay. Now, that doesn't mean that he changed his mind, but what it does mean is that even the dissent agrees that this case should be paused while a higher court potentially steps in. And that's huge. In his dissent, Justice Mitchell basically told us that releasing Quadajah Johnson didn't sit well with him. He gave his reasons, and he was crystal clear about it. He knew that something in the milk wasn't clean, and he went on record for saying, I'm signing off on this thing as a justice, but I don't agree with my two colleagues. So what happens next? Well, now this case moves to the Illinois Supreme Court. The state is expected to file what's called a petition for leave to appeal, or a PLA. From there are two possible outcomes. If the Supreme Court takes the case, then the stay remains in place, Quadajah remains detained, and it could take months before a decision is actually handed down. If, on the other hand, the Supreme Court declines the case, then the stay gets lifted. The appellate ruling kicks right back in, and the lower court, Judge Clancy's Circuit Court, must move forward on release decisions for Quadajah Johnson. So does all this mean that Quadajah lost her appeal? No. It means that the state has successfully pressed pause before that win could take effect. Quadajah Johnson was on the road to a possible release. Now, the road isn't closed, but is certainly blocked until the Illinois Supreme Court decides whether or not to open it. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up and share it with someone who can use this message. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already done so, and leave a comment down below letting me know your thoughts. Do you think the Illinois Supreme Court is going to take this case, or do you think Quadajah Johnson will be spending her first Mother's Day at home? Meet me in the comments. We can continue the conversation there.